Well, good Tuesday evening, everyone. Todd Bourne here on Facebook Live tonight, as well as on the weather page of KTLnews.com with a live update on the weather here across the Arklatex. Some changes in the models during the latter stages of the afternoon, and still showing the potential this evening, as earlier today looked like we would probably dry out for the most part tonight. Experience lots of sunshine tomorrow. Now the high-res models indicating we could be looking at somewhat impressive amount of rain over the northeastern, say, edge of the area especially. And I'll have the details on exactly how much rain we could see. Earlier, I'll just give you a hint. The HRRR at one point had more than a foot of rain over parts of Columbia County in southwest Arkansas. So again, when it starts screaming amounts like that, you got to pay attention. The Weather Service has issued a flood watch for the northeastern, almost half of the area, but it does appear as if the heaviest rain will fall to the northeast of Shreveport and to the east of Texarkana, though it could get pretty close to Texarkana. I'm going to talk about that, show you a couple of different models and the rainfall projections from those. And then we kind of settle into hot and dry. And it looks like we could be in for an extended period of hot and dry weather as we head into the last half of July. Easily a couple of weeks with temperatures close to 100. And next week it looks like we could surpass 100. And I'll have the details on that. Take you out a couple weeks as far as the ensemble, show you what we could be facing in terms of those temperatures. If you have a question or a comment, feel free to ask away. If you just want to say hello, Todd, that's great too. It is tradition each night to begin the festivities with our hellos. So let me, looks like a pretty long list tonight. Let's see who's tuning in. Gary, hello. Brian, hello. Linda, greetings. Renee, good evening to you. Sarah in Brooklyn, New York, hello. Alexi, hello. Lewis, good evening. As I mentioned, Lewis, it looks like you're kind of on the edge. You'll see the blend of models that I typically show the 10-day rainfall totals for shows Shreveport and Texarkana on the edge of the heavier stuff. It does look like the bullseye is going to be Columbia County, Claiborne Parish, Union County, maybe a part of Nevada County, and I'll show you that in a second. But keep in mind, it's just a projection for the models. Things will change. I do think that the heaviest rain will be east of Texarkana, though. Let's see. Betty, we very well could be looking at some issues. We do have the flood watch in effect, as I mentioned. Shelley, good evening. Eric says 89 west of the Arklatex in Colbert, Oklahoma. And let's see who I scooted down too much. Let's see. Way far. Sarah says 93 degrees today. Ooh, that's hot in New York. Christopher, hello in Texarkana. We'll see. I think it's going to be east of you, Christopher. We'll see, though. Katie, hello. Lee, greetings. Donna, you're quite welcome. Michelle, hello. Kim in Hope, Arkansas, greetings. Jack in DeQueen, you got a little bit of rain north of you earlier today. Looking forward to seeing those pictures, Lee. Norm, Gary is here from hot Southern California. Gary, the last couple nights I looked at your numbers, 115, 116, goose eggs. I said, no wonders Gary's not joining us, hasn't joined us recently. Michael in Texarkana, hello. Christopher, keep prodding there, Santa, Christopher. We need some relief. Gary, I doubt we'll see much Saturday. Looks dry and hot. Donna, you're not going to see much rain there. All right, 109, 110, says Gary. Well, that's hot enough. I will kind of zero in on those. Jack, got some good rain there in DeQueen. All right, let me get going. I got a lot to cover. Grab my clicker here so I can go through these fairly quickly. And you can see that temperatures across the area today with the clouds, we stay below normal, upper 80s, low 90s for daytime highs. Out there right now, we're pretty quiet. Pinpoint Doppler not really showing a whole lot as far as rainfall. You can see one little cell which has popped up here south of Clarksville. But again, this is the area more than likely to the east of that that we will see the heaviest of the rain, the way things are looking right now. Keep in mind there could be give me some wiggle room here. It could be a little bit further to the southwest. It could be a little bit further to the north and east. Based on what we're seeing here is what's happening is we have a frontal boundary which is outstretched across the northern half of the area. We have the upper level ridge that is sitting over the southern Rockies, and we have this little ripple right in here. That is an upper level disturbance which is slowly going to move towards the south and east, and that'll be the match that lights the fire of rain tonight across the area. Here's that frontal system, and I'm going to fly through these, and you can see it will be lifting to the north in the next 24 hours, and we kind of settle into hot. Gary, of course, hot has found its home in your neck of the woods, and Sarah, you're going to stay rather warm, but eventually you will see some rain come into your weather picture as we head closer to the weekend, while we will likely stay dry here across the Arklatex, and that'll hold true heading into the weekend. There's your rain, Sarah, probably Thursday night, Friday morning. Again, really everything staying to the north of the northern edge of that upper level ridge that you'll see in grain of salt time here in a second as it moves eventually very close to the Arklatex. So there's that flood watch. That's in effect for much of northwest Louisiana and most of southwest Arkansas. And again, it's really going to be this part of it. The northeast half of this is where the high-res model's kind of pointing, as of right now, as the location of the heaviest of the rain. So here's the very latest model information. This updates every hour. In the last 3, 4, 5, 6 hours of the HRRR has kind of hinted at the north. There it comes, and you can see a little bit of rain around Shreveport, but notice the persistence of the rain after midnight tonight over southwest Arkansas, especially east of Texarkana. And you can see that we're talking 4 to 8 o'clock in the morning, and it continues. This is 10 o'clock, still some decent rain, and then as we move towards noon, we still have some rain around. So we very well could see several hours of heavy rain in that particular part of the Arklatex. While we will have some heavy rain in Shreveport, I don't think it'll be quite as intense, and Texarkana, by the way. I don't think it'll be quite as long lasting as, in other words, it won't begin as soon, although it may end a little bit later, but it probably will not be as intense as you see here further to the north and east. All right, so let's talk rainfall potential. This is the HRRR, and you can see the rather impressive rainfall totals here. Now, what I'm going to do is, anywhere you see red, that's at least 5 inches. So I'm going to kind of tilt this map up a little bit, manipulate this, and zero in here. And Betty, you wanted your numbers, and keep in mind, that's the northeastern. Notice the numbers here, 10 inches, 11 inches. All right, so you kind of get the point. We're going to have locations here that could see some rather impressive rainfall totals. Now, keep in mind, too, that this is not set in stone. It just depends on where the storms eventually develop. But this is where, again, the last several runs of the HRRR, this has been the bullseye location of the heaviest of the rain. Keep that in mind. Here is Futurecast, totally different model. Notice where it has the bullseye, pretty much in the same spot. And I'm going to do the same thing here and tilt this up, and you can see the amounts that it is showing. Not quite as heavy, but still we're in that range of 6 to 8 inches in the same spot. So that gives me a great deal of confidence that we have a good shot of seeing at least 6 inches there in Columbia County, part of Nevada County. Notice the amount in Texarkana, not as high, but notice how steep the gradient is between Texarkana and say Louisville. Louisville 3 inches, Texarkana 1/4 inch. So if this model is off by just a little bit, you could be looking at that 2 to 4 inches in Texarkana. All right, so you can see the number in Shreveport, 2.5 inches. So a couple of more inches possible for us as well, but clearly it does look like the heaviest rain will be over the northeastern quarter of the Arklatex there in especially around Magnolia. One of the early newscasts had the HRRR had 12 inches in Magnolia. So again, grain of salt there, but the key word here is potential. All right, potential. It is possible that we could see that amount of rainfall here with these storms. So here's Futurecast, and you can see the timing. Probably a bit too soon here, given the emptiness of the radar right now. But you can see the persistence of the rain in that same area. Notice by 7 a.m. we have the lingering showers and thunderstorms, which should begin to wrap up. And then we'll see some sunshine in the afternoon, which should warm us into the middle 90s. May have to lower the forecast for the high tomorrow based on the latest model information, how late we see the clouds depart. And then that's probably going to be pretty much it. We'll see a partly cloudy sky tomorrow night. Futurecast hinting at maybe a little bit of rain Thursday morning. Still not quite buying that just yet. I think we'll stay dry, and definitely will be dry for Friday as well. So that's what it looks like here for the next couple of days. And there's the segue to grain of salt time. The tropics, we still have this one disturbance in the Atlantic that has a medium chance of forming. Nothing in the Gulf, nothing in the Caribbean, and nothing further out in the Atlantic to worry about here for the next week. Probably the next couple of weeks we should be relatively quiet in the tropics. All right, so let's go back and answer some questions. The rain will make it cooler, but not drastically. Sarah, I really doubt that the numbers that I told you last night have changed. You'll probably drop into the mid to upper 80s for highs, lows close to 70 in your neck of the woods. Gary says a dry heat. Yeah, we'll have the heat index 110, Gary, tomorrow in spots, and it's going to stay that way for the better part of the next week. Let's see, Chris. Okay. Oh, I would say, before August 1st, I would have to look. That's a good question. I would go for D. I'll go for D, Chris. I may have to stop well, I can't do it. It's be too late. Stacy in Magnolia, get ready. If you live in a flood-prone area, just keep in mind of the potential. Just saying that it's something you'll have to keep an eye on. And obviously, if you have to go out and about in the morning, if we do get 10 inches of rain, even 6 inches of rain, there could be some issues. I imagine you do, Wendy. As I mentioned last night, southern part of the area is getting a bit dry with level 1, level 2 drought already developing. Christopher, severe weather not too much of a concern, just a marginal risk from SPC. Might have a brief increase of a wind gust to 60. Not looking at much hail. The main concern tonight is going to be the heavy rain. Sorry to hear about your mosquito issues, Lee. All right, let me move on and talk a longer range here with a look at the pattern, and you can see that ridge off to the west of us. Again, the oranges here, that's where the air above us is at its warmest. The darker the orange or the darker the red, the stronger the high. All right, so you can see the colors get a little bit darker for us for the rest of the week. Tells you it's going to be a little bit warmer. Also, notice we have this upper level low up here. That may give a little push down to allow more of a northwesterly flow and a chance for some rain maybe this weekend, but it really will be confined to the northern sections of the area. And then watch where the ridge goes. Yeah, you see the trend. It's starting to move back to the east, and it could settle right over us by the time we close next week. If it happens this way, we could be looking at temperatures similar to what you're going to see in the ensembles here. We'll see. Didn't quite go that high yet, and I'll show you those temperatures here in a second. And again, here is the 10-day rainfall potential from the blend of the different models, and you can see that the gradient, half an inch less, about a half an inch in Texarkana, and we go up to 5 inches in Magnolia. Now keep in mind this has the high-res models, it has the global, it has all the different models in it. That's why these numbers are a little bit lower than what you saw. So when the blend says 5 inches, that's there you go. And notice where the bullseye is, right over Magnolia, okay? So there you go. That's kind of shows you the location of where the heaviest rain. It kind of gives you a little bit more reinforcement when you blend all the different models as to where the heaviest of the rain will be. And notice Shreveport and Texarkana less than a half an inch. All right, not to say that we won't get 2 to 4 inches in either location. It looks like that is probably better chance than it will. All right, let's talk temperature. And this is depressing. You can see 95 tomorrow, and that actually looks fairly reasonable from the European ensembles. Then we heat up, upper 90s, triple digits possible Friday, folks. I can't, I think I have 99 now, so 100 definitely possible. And then notice the persistence of the triple digit heat late next week through the first half of the following week. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 straight days of triple digit heat from the European ensembles. Lows pretty close to 80. Depressing. GFS ensembles, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 straight days of triple digit heat. Lows upper 70s. 95 from the GFS ensembles there as well. And then once we lose the rain, we'll see those highs in the upper 90s for several days. But you can see the impact of that upper level ridge. And Friday, with that ridge as close as it could be, we very well could see 102, 103 degrees. It definitely within the realm of possibility, although we do still have a lot of water in the ground. All right, so that's what it looks like as far as the rain. Let me go back and see if I have any other, let's see. Lee. Yeah, that was pretty impressive. I when I got out this morning, I saw it coming in, but typically those complexes like that weaken during the morning, and that definitely was the case for us this morning, as we didn't have any issues and barely got a sprinkle at my house from the rain earlier today. Christopher's possible really depends on how much we mix the drier air down from above us. That's going to play a big role. Just because the lows are in the upper 70s, the days are still fairly, I should say the nights are still fairly short, relatively speaking. So we don't have that as much time to cool down, which is also plays a role in that. So we'll see. We'll have some excessive heat warnings before it's all said and done, and probably before the end of this week, given how humid it is across the area. Sarah and Gary, let me take a quick look at your numbers here before I sign off. I didn't load those before, but as you know, it's just a couple clicks away. Have everything bookmarked. Gary, goose eggs for you. Europeans showing 111 tomorrow, 113 Wednesday, and then every single day in the next 2 weeks, Gary, you're above 110. You could have several days of 115, 116 this weekend, basically from Friday through next Wednesday. And lows in the upper 80s to low 90s. I laugh. And low 91 is your low. So, Chris, to answer your question, Sarah's going to hit 95 before Gary drops into the 50s, I think. Unless something weird happens. Sarah, your temperatures? Again, probably close to 90 through Thursday, and then Friday through the weekend, mid-80s, and then it'll kind of stay in the mid to maybe upper 80s for the rest of the 2 week period. Lows close to 70, so that hasn't changed much. A little bit of rain Thursday, especially Friday, Saturday, Sunday. A couple of inches of rain possible then, and then you might get some more late next week. So that's what you're kind of looking like in your neck of the woods there, Sarah. Another quick, see if we got any other questions before I... Gary says pool weather every day. And Gary, with the air so dry, you probably freeze when you get out the pool. Yeah, Gary's happy for his 116 every day. Eesh. I can't imagine that. But, at least you're dry. You're not covered in perspiration, he said nicely, when you get out in that stuff. All right, so let's go to the forecast and give you the details. And these numbers for the highs you'll see here in a second, I'm going to change. So subtract 2 from the highs you see. But tonight, again, the heavy rain over the northeastern, say, quarter of the Arklatex. Flood watch is in effect, as we'll see lows where it doesn't rain, probably, or rain that much, probably in the mid-70s. Where it does rain, low 70s for nighttime lows tonight. Tomorrow, I'm going to change the 90, that should say 97. I'm going to change it down to 95. All right, so shave 2 degrees from these highs. So basically looking at highs tomorrow in the mid to and some upper 90s. I do think 98 for center is possible. Same thing for Natchitoches, where you likely won't see much as far as as far as rainfall. And heat index tomorrow 105 to 110. And you can see the 10-day forecast somewhat depressing, as we'll see highs in the upper 90s through probably the middle of next week. We could see, some triple digits as soon as Monday or Tuesday, probably Tuesday if it were to happen. And then lows will be in the upper 70s. There's that small chance for some rain as we look ahead to Sunday and Monday. And again, the 99, 99, 100 at the end could be somewhat conservative. Earlier in the summer, I was a little bit aggressive with that high and the temperatures. So I'm going to wait until we have that indication that we've evaporated enough of the water in the ground before I go head over heels into the triple digits too aggressively. All right, so that will pretty much do it for me tonight, and I see a couple of requests for the nightly dad joke. So here we go. So a fly with a bug on its back said, "Hey, are you a mite?" The mite says, "I might be." The fly says, "Well, that's the worst joke I've ever heard." The mite said, "Well, I just made it up on the fly." Thank you. Thank you very much. Well, that will do it for me tonight. Thanks for tuning in. Again, you folks in the northeastern sections of the Arklatex, let's say Nevada County, Columbia County, Claiborne Parish, again, be advised now that the potential is there for some very heavy rain tonight. You may want to set the alarm a few minutes early just to see how things are faring if you do have to make that commute to work in case there are some travel issues tomorrow morning. Again, not set in stone. The key word there is potential, and that potential does indeed exist. So that will do it for me tonight. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to tune in tonight after the All-Star game on Fox or at 10 on NBC6. We actually could be on both at the same time. Sometimes happens. Anyway, again, that will do it for me tonight. Stay safe out there tomorrow morning if you get a lot of rain, and stay safe tomorrow afternoon as the heat begins to crank up. I'll be back tomorrow evening with another live update. Until then, have a great night. Good night.